I'm trying to get through all of the big awards contenders for the 2024 season that I've missed. I plan on doing sort of my own awards episode because I'm of the opinion that the Hollywood based ones almost always get it wrong. To be quite frank, I don't even think half of the nominated for Best Picture are deserving of that accolade. The films they always hold such high regards for are always films that the majority of moviegoers either didn't see, didn't care about, or are all around just decent films that have some message that Hollywood just loves to throw out there. Or it's a biopic and Hollywood loves its heartwarming generic biopic. Queen is my favorite band of all time, but Bohemian Rhapsody, really? That movie sucked. And look, there certainly are many films that deserve the praise, but oftentimes I feel that the most entertaining, engaging, and many times most moving films of the year never get noticed in the awards circuit. So, when the Oscars or Golden Globes or whoever releases their nominees, I'm always very skeptical. I have to say though, I really enjoyed this one. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Conclave. Conclave is a very well-made film. Here is what I will say though. This movie, like many awards nominees, is not going to appeal to a wide audience. And I don't think you need to be someone who is interested in Catholicism, religion, or even the behind-the-scenes politics and bureaucracy institutions to enjoy Conclave. But I certainly think that if you do have interest in those subjects, this film will resonate with you more. Putting that aside, this is a very well-directed, produced, written, and acted mystery thriller. The basis of the narrative is that the current pope dies of a heart attack. Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, played by Ralph Fiennes, is tasked with assembling and leading a conclave of the College of Cardinals to elect a new one. After being sequestered for the election, Lawrence continues to uncover multiple irregularities and misdeeds that disqualify the college's most popular candidates and leads to complications during the election process. This movie does a wonderful job at giving you an accurate glance into how a conclave commences and unfolds, as well as the petty politics that embroil such an event. This film also does a fantastic job at humanizing these figures that a lot of people hold in such high regard. It dives into the nuances of how complicated some of these cardinals' personal lives are, how they overcome their tribulations, and how they reconcile their imperfections with their faith. The mystery portion of this movie is also executed beautifully. In the midst of this conclave, Cardinal Lawrence is informed of a few rumors surrounding a couple cardinals that are up for the election. He quickly has to unravel this conundrum and try and pinpoint the right candidate to lead the church into the future. The mystery and constant questioning of which rumors are true, as well as the constant political bickering and revelations of corruption, keeps you on your toes the entire time. Ralph Fiennes, like usual, is so good in this movie, with such a reserved, calculating, and nuanced performance. His character is just so intriguing as well. Lawrence, at some point before the onset of this film, experienced a crisis of faith. He plans to resign from the College of Cardinals after the conclave, as he feels a disconnect within himself, his beliefs, and his position. But yet, he's a man of such substantial integrity. He vows to unravel and reveal the truths behind the prominent cardinals, no matter how it may affect the church and the opinions towards it. Even at one point confronting his close friend, Cardinal Bellini, played by Stanley Tucci, about his own corruption. He is willing to do what is morally right, no matter what the cost on his own personal reputation is for the sake of the church. It's admirable, especially in a time where it seems as though so many people are terrified to stand up and say what they believe for what is morally right. The rest of the cast is phenomenal as well. Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow, both seasoned vets, are fantastic as these two competing candidates, each from a separate aisle of the political spectrum. I want to call out the performance of newcomer Carlos Diaz, Mexican Cardinal Benitez, an unknown cardinal working in Afghanistan who becomes an underdog in the election. This performance, even though he doesn't have many lines of dialogue, is so moving. Even more so after realizing Diaz had a full career before getting back into acting at the age of 40, and he's so good. In his speech he gives in the third act about how the church needs to put its past behind them, cut out the meaningless politics, and lead into the future with love is just so inspiring. The production of this film is incredible. While I think some of it may have been filmed in the Vatican, I know that it was filmed on multiple locations in and around Rome. But the production chose to film in a studio in Rome so they could be close by to accurately design and replicate the sets and costumes from the Vatican. Everything looks so authentic. Even though the designers took their liberties, it looks incredible. I'm not a devout Catholic, not even close, but I've always been infatuated with the architecture, wardrobes, art, and costumes of the Catholic Church and the Vatican. So the look to this film really resonated with me. And on top of that, you have gorgeous cinematography from Stéphane Fontaine, making this movie one of the most beautifully designed and shot films of the year. Conclave is one of the rare films that makes its way through award season as a top contender for the Academy that I actually enjoyed. It is very good. One of the big factors for me when it comes to discussing the best films of any given year is their rewatchability factor. I love movies and I love revisiting movies. This is something I feel like these awards congregations never really consider. Granted, Conclave doesn't have that, in my opinion, but it hits on every other mark that I consider important. Directing, acting, writing, cinematography, and score. And while even though this movie has elements of politics infused within its narrative, it never really seems to push a message on its audience. In fact, when Lawrence commits to an investigation, he uncovers corruption behind candidates from both sides of the political spectrum, and he holds steadfast to his values, his beliefs, and never lets himself get swayed by either end. I really enjoyed this film, even if it may not appeal to everyone. But again, I firmly believe that even if you're not interested in this subject matter, you will find some enjoyment in this film. I highly, highly recommend it.